You're going to be the on. Hi, everybody. Hey, this is Theresa Erin. Listen, I am the broker and the owner of Take a Look Real Estate Brokers. Erin, can you hear? Are you able to hear right now online? Okay. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. We had 70-degree weather.
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, 70-degree weather today in Columbus, Ohio. It is beautiful. It's windy. I guess we're having some wind issues this evening. And we're getting ready for It's Time to Own It. We just ran the commercial, did the commercial this afternoon. It's a little bit of a different take. We are working on our branding and stuff. I don't need to be telling you all this. But anyway, I just thought I'd share it because it's a big deal for me. As a small brokerage, as an independent brokerage, it's important for us to, just try to relate to our community and to the audience and to who's out there that we can serve and help achieve the goal of home ownership. We are also appealing to sellers because we have a lot in store for them as it relates to getting the values. We are now located at 2957 Stelter Road. I just want to thank all of our clients and everybody who has supported us over the years and really helped us to get to this point, because it is a big deal for us to take on this big lease at the corner of Stelter and McCutcheon, 2957 Stelter Road. We call it our Easton location. And so today, what we're going to do is we're going to have Erin, who's got questions set aside, do a bit of an interview so we can tell you why home ownership is very, very important. I mean, it may be reasons. I'm going to try to answer these questions since we got so many people who just don't ask questions. You get the answers if you ask questions. So I am going to try to answer the questions and give really good information so that, I just empower. That's what it's about, empowering our community. So, Erin, are you ready?
Yes, can you hear me clearly?
I hear you clearly. I hope everybody out there can also hear you. I think they can. I'm going to move this a little bit closer. So, guys, and then we'll get ready for talking about It's Time to Own It.
I checked it so I can hear myself, because we're playing behind so I can hear myself.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay. I'm going to ask you these questions in lieu of our upcoming It's Time to Own It event. Mm-hmm. And obviously, we know that the goal of the event is to help renters come out of these high rents, this chaotic rental time where landlords are evicting left and right, rents are raising. And so obviously there are people who are first-time buyers who need to have the mindset of a buyer to understand why these things are important. So I'm going to put myself in the position of someone who, say, for instance, has only been renting for a long time, so that you can help me answer, so that you can answer some questions for me so I can understand why I should come to the event and use your services. So my first question is, I'll call myself Camille the Renter.
Okay.
So I've been
a
renter for years. I've been a renter for years. What's the point of purchasing?
Well, the point of purchasing is if you've been renting for years, Camille, then what you know for sure is that rents are normally going to go where? They're going to go up. And as they go up, of course, your cost of living goes up. The rental payment or your housing costs are usually some of the most expensive things you're going to pay for is transportation and housing. So if you are renting right now, the cost of renting does go up, and it goes up on an annual basis. And that's one of the reasons why you might want to consider actually purchasing as opposed to renting. The other thing is common sense. If somebody's in the business of renting to you their real estate, do you think that they are going to rent to you for less than what they are paying on a monthly basis? You kind of got to think a little backwards. I want you to think about it. It's just like anything else you buy, whatever the landlord is paying in mortgage, it is definitely less than your rent. So if that is the case, you need to consider the fact that if they're paying less than your rent, probably if you purchase an apples to apples type property, if you purchase something that is similar, you can lower your cost entirely and take it down probably 30-40%, just simply because mortgage is usually less than rent if you keep it apples to apples. And that is the key, is keeping it apples to apples. Does that answer your question?
Yes. My next question is, how does home ownership affect my financial future?
It's an amazing thing. There's a couple trains of thought out there, and I'm just going to give you mine. This is the way I see it, and I can tell you it's been a 30-year journey in terms of me owning real estate, and I'm just really excited because I bought my first house in 1989, and over the years, not only has someone else paid off my property because I didn't stay in it for the entire 30 years. I stayed in it for a year and a half. Then I found something else. And I didn't sell it, I kept it. So someone else has been paying off my mortgage for the last 28 and a half years. And in addition to that, in terms of the valuation and building wealth, real estate, that is the number one thing to build wealth all over the world. The person that owns the land wins. As long as you can pay your taxes and maintain your land, you win. They're not making any more real estate. Real estate is always and forever a limited resource. And so if you own the land, you can build wealth, because over time, the cost of living tends to get more expensive. The cost of housing, the cost of land tends to get more expensive. You'll find out property that was purchased in, let's just say, the early 80s, people were buying houses for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Even as late as 2005, 6, 7, 8, people were buying houses in that $30,000 to $50,000 range as investors, picking up blighted property in areas that had not been developed well or that were going down, picking them up in anticipation of rebuilding them, anticipating that the demographics would shift and people would begin to come back into the urban environment. And that is exactly what has happened. Take areas like Milo Grogan, for instance. You could, I tell you right now, I sold a property to an investor probably 5 years ago for $31,000. And we sold that property last April, which I've told people this story before. So if I sound like a repeat, I'm repeating. But we did sell that property last year, April, for $100,000. And that's just what it is. Actually, it was $92,000 because we gave an $88,000 credit for the basement walls caving in. It's a 120-year-old house. And then just recently, a similar situation on a listing that we currently have active that just went into contract. I mean, the gentleman has been in the house for 60 years, and today it is listed at $116,000 in the same neighborhood. Now, those properties, you could have picked them up 3 to 5 years ago, for very little money. But as the situation in Columbus changes, it shifts, the dynamic shifts, the population is increasing, people are becoming centered around their communities. In other words, they would like to have their work, their play, their grocery store, and all of their recreational things nearby, centered where they are living. And that is what's occurring right now in Central Ohio. The city is making a big effort to do that. And as a matter of fact, today, the old grocery store that we had listed at 1464, just in case anybody was interested, 1464 Cleveland Avenue just sold today, sold for $245,000. We're going to update that in the MLS if you were eyeballing that property. And Erin, does that answer?
Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
My next question is, what's the difference between the mindset of a renter and an owner?
It's when you're renting, a lot of times, it shifts, the thought shifts that it's the landlord's responsibility to take care and maintenance things. It is, the communities tend to be not quite as nice or not quite as well maintained. There is less of an investment in the general area. You will find out that people, they don't care quite as much about what's going on in the neighborhood. At least that is the general sentiment. The mindset of an owner, on the other hand, is they're vested This is an investment that they are making within their community. They want to make sure their streets are clean, that the services are available that are necessary. They are watching out for whoever's walking up and down their block. They care about who comes in and who goes out. It's just a different, there is a vested mindset when you are owning as opposed to when you're renting. It shifts from landlord thought, expecting that somebody else is going to take care of whatever's necessary, to this is mine, I'm staking my claim, and it's very important that I protect my domain here. It's a different attitude, a different mindset. So, does that answer?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And question number 4 is, do homeowners really get tax breaks for owning instead of renting?
Yes, and that's changing somewhat. There's always going to be a potential tax break if you have a mortgage and you're paying interest. That is one of the last wonderful tax breaks that we get, is that the mortgage interest actually is tax deductible. And if you're itemizing and you have the ability to utilize it, like your itemization after you've taken your mortgage deduction is better than taking the standard deduction, then you can benefit from that. And that's something that people don't count on. So people who rent, they never see this. And it's kind of crazy because they don't see it. So for them, it doesn't exist. They don't even know it exists until they own a home and they receive that 1098 in the mail saying, they paid $7,000, $8,000 in the year in interest, and they get to actually take that and write that off of their income. So for somebody who's got, let's just say a $40,000 income, if you get to take $7,000 off in terms of the interest deduction, it technically can reduce your income. That deduction will reduce your income down to maybe 32. And the tax on 32 or 33 is different than the tax on 40. So it can make quite a bit of a difference. As a matter of fact, there's something called the mortgage certificate credit, which means that you can actually keep more of the money that you make in your paycheck just simply because you're paying a mortgage and you own a home. So it's definitely beneficial.
Okay. My credit isn't all that great right now. Will I ever be able to buy?
Girl, that is the story. That is what a lot of folks have an issue because they're worried about credit. They don't want to be judged and they're embarrassed, or they're worried about what people think and so forth and so on. And I will just tell you that credit is a factor. It's something that we have to deal with. But I think most people would say that if they could get it together, if they could just get somebody to help them to get it together, give them the information so that they can figure out how to clean it up as quickly as possible, then they would do that. They would want to do that. Nobody wants to be in debt. So absolutely, we can clean it up and we can help you to clean it up. You actually have to do the work. You have to take the steps. You have to make the effort. You have to begin to control your spending. You have to watch, your money, pay attention to your banking and so forth. Avoid, high interest rate credit cards that you cannot pay off in a very short period of time. Don't overspend on vehicles, and, always check things like your insurance cost. How much are you paying for your auto insurance and things like that, and try to really get control over your budget. Credit is just making payments on time. And what we want to demonstrate to the mortgage companies out there so that we can pass their threshold is that we can make a payment on time. The credit score that is most, that we want to try to get over is we want our middle score to be above a 620. We also have lenders that are allowing buyers to buy at a 580 score. So the key is just really focusing in on how you are spending. I tell people a lot of times to just write down, keep track, write down what you spend. Make sure that nothing is paid more than 30 days late. If you pay it more than 30 days late, they're going to ding you on your credit report. And I don't care what credit company it is, there are ways to maybe get it off there by, dunning them and making them disputing those debts. But most of the companies today are very intricate in terms of how they handle it. They're going to pretty much catch it, and they're going to be able to show that either it was paid on time or it wasn't. So I just encourage people to try to make those payments on time. Things happen. We know cash flow happens. But listen, that's another reason why you need to own it as opposed to renting it, because I'm going to segue and just answer this. I know it might not be in your question, but listen, understand that people who own property, if they've got a mortgage on it, they've got a payment just like somebody who rents. Even if it were equal payments, the person who owns the property, if something goes wrong, like the car breaks down, if something goes wrong, like, you know, you say something ugly to your boss and they make you take 3 days off and take a chill day. If your paycheck doesn't show up on time because you were sick, if you couldn't go to work for one reason or another, if you own the home, you can pay on the 1st, you can pay on the 15th, you can pay on the 30th, and nobody's going to come knocking at your door, putting a 3-day notice on you, telling you that you have to get out or meet me at court. You're not going to have that. You can then redeem yourself by making that payment anytime within that 30 days without taking a hit. And even if you had to go another 30 days, the worst that's going to happen is that you're going to get 2 late fees and you're going to get a ding on your credit. But by that time you own the home. So which way is better? I mean, it's a no-brainer, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. My next question is, how would I even begin the process of home ownership? How would I begin that?
Well, we start out by taking a look at your current circumstances and identifying, first of all, what it is that you need out of your home, because it's going to make a difference. If we understand that, you know, you're currently paying $800 a month in rent, but what you want to transition to is a house that you're going to love. Like, so maybe we have to go up $1,200, $1,300 to the mortgage payment, which can be adjusted down. For instance, an $800 rent payment is closer to a $1,000 mortgage payment because of those credits that we talked about earlier. So what the first thing we're going to do is we're going to determine what it is you would like to achieve. Make sure we talk about the affordability so that you can actually stay in your home once you get it. And then we're going to go through and take a look at your credit. Make certain that you have the right income. There's some things that we want to be aware of. For instance, if you have student loans and you want to borrow money, you need to make sure that those student loans are in repayment. In most cases, it's better to have them in repayment. And that's number one, even if it's just for the period of time that we're actually getting ready to buy the home. And number two, we want to make sure that you have enough cash to close the transaction. It's just important to have these certain things out of the way. There are certain pitfalls that are going to definitely cause you some issues. Like, for instance, if you filed bankruptcy and it's been less than 24 months, you've got to wait until that date of discharge is at least 24 months out for most preferential loans. And that we're talking FHA, VA, those types of loans, and standard conventional financing that is going to be preferred rates. We don't want you going into no high risk rate. We want you to get into a loan that's going to remain stable, that's going to stay in place and not have you going up and down, bouncing all over the the spectrum with the payment. So does that handle that?
Yes.
Okay.
I have two more questions for you.
Okay.
My second to last question number, this is actually question number 7.
Okay.
Why would I choose a brokerage over a big box kind of name brand brokerage?
Well, I think, the personal service it's really intense with us. We are solving problems. That's what it's about. Take a look, real estate brokers. It developed over time. We've actually been in business 25 years, and the core group has been together for more than 15 years. We've developed some relationships that other people just haven't I don't know why, but they probably just haven't done it. Part of our mission at the brokerage is to ensure that everybody who wants to own a home has an opportunity to actually make that happen without feeling, you know, like they're being judged or put down or whatever. We want to make sure that it's easy to understand language, that you get the information that you need, and that we give you a clear picture of how things go in the home buying process. That's our entire plan. We bring everybody together with a program called It's Time to Own It, and it's time to own it.
That actually segues into my next question,
okay,
which is a little bit more about the event.
So It's Time to Own It has been going on since October of 2017, and it was myself and some agents that have been around that are not even, I've got one that wasn't even in our brokerage. They got together and we were thinking about how we could serve our communities and how we could serve our communities best. Well, listen, rent right now averages in Columbus, Ohio at $1,150 per month. It's simply unaffordable for a lot of people. If you're making $35,000 a year and you got to pay $1,150 a month rent, plus utilities, plus car payment, plus transportation costs and food, it gets pretty difficult. It gets pretty challenging. So our goal was to let people know that there is another way. You know, if you're willing to go apples to apples, there is an extraordinary way through homeownership. Your costs go way down. And with all of the reinvestment in some of the neighborhoods that are in the city, there's some excellent values, some beautiful homes that are out there that are being completely redone. We do have a problem with the inventory. I don't want to make it like it's just really, you know, we're just going to go out here and make it happen very easily, because there is an inventory issue, but you might as well get started, because otherwise you're sort of stuck in that $1,150 average payment to get decent housing in Central Ohio. So my goal, and the goal of all of the other co-founders of this program, was to really invest in our community by educating the population. We do it for free. We treat people with a lot of love and respect. We tell our stories, we share information, we bring the resources to the table, and we invite you to come out. I'm telling you that this event, by hands down, according to all of the vendors that participate in the event, is the best that Columbus has to offer, and at this current moment. Now, I'm not saying that we can't improve. We can always improve. We can always do better. And so this go around this year, we have a new location. We're located at 2957 Stelter Road. And at our new location, we think that we can serve people in a higher level, at a higher level, and really capture a lot more folks, get them through the process more quickly by getting into smaller groups. So we're actually doing it in a location at our office. It is called our War Room. We're bringing the talent in, the information in, the resources in, and we're going to sit down and we're going to go through the process with you and share with you. How you register? Well, this upcoming event is on the 23rd. It's March 23rd. You do need to register because space is limited. We are usually at the Feddersen Rec Center. This time we will be at our actual office, 2957 Stelter Road, just 1 mile from Easton at the corner of McCutcheon and Stelter. There's plenty of parking. What you need to do is to get online at Eventbrite, and that's how you get registered. There are 2 sessions on the 23rd, this upcoming weekend, not this weekend, but the following weekend, excuse me. There are 2 sessions. Session 1 begins at 12. We're not going to keep you all day, so it's 12 to 2. It's going to be packed full of information. We have our lender, Sue Reichard, coming in, and she actually has a program that it's for a limited time only, because when the money's gone, it's gone. But this program gets you into your house for $500 out of pocket, and I think that's hard to beat. It's a community program only with the state chartered banks. So it's very important that if you want to find out about that program, that you give us a call, 614-778-8503, or register on Eventbrite. The second
link is in the comments.
Yeah, that's the link for the first event. The second event, the second event is 2:30 to 4:30. So we're going to do a second event because our space is limited. And then we will come back again during the week. And during the week, we are going to have Duke Cooper from Caliber Mortgage. He's coming in and he's going to help us out during the week after the weekend event, we're going to go Thursday. I believe we're on Thursday to do it all over again for those folks who cannot get in to the Saturday events that we have coming up. So I'm really excited. We really love doing this. We really love helping our community. We love to share the information. It helps us market ourselves, but at the same time, it helps us serve the community. So it really is a win-win, and everybody loves a win-win. Wouldn't you say, Erin? Everybody loves that. Everybody loves that. So, everybody. So yeah, we're real excited. I'm listening. You're on.
Well, those are all my questions, and I think that you've answered them very well. Okay. Make sure to visit our blog on baronbrands.com.
Yep.
/blog. We have some really great articles for people who are looking to buy homes, who are looking to sell, looking to downsize, looking to invest. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Take a Look Real Estate Brokers on YouTube, so that you can get every episode of Ask Theresa, all kinds of valuable tidbits and market information.
Yep.
And if you are an agent, or if you are in school to be an agent, or want to learn more about how to become an agent, reach out to us, because then once you become an agent, we can plug you in. Or if you are an agent, we can plug you into our Platinum Success Facebook group, where we provide free training to real estate agents, regardless if you're with our brokerage or not.
Yes, actually, Erin, we are taking the students and we're allowing them to come into the Platinum Success now. So if they have, if they can give us the name of their school and say student, and we verify that they are students, we will let them into Platinum Success, which, by the way, guys, is a group on Take a Look Real Estate Brokers platform. We are doing a whole lot, giving a lot of information. It's all free. You don't have to pay a dime to get this information. And we do believe that it is enriching. It's not just, we're not fluffing it. We're not just touting our name. If you decide after working with us that we're not the brokerage for you, you come into our event, that's fine. You're still going to walk out with a whole lot of information. And we believe that there's so much abundance around that we don't worry about anybody else, or we just celebrate success in all forms. So, Erin.
And that free training on the Platinum Success platform, in our private Facebook group, it includes all episodes of the Platinum Success podcast training. Mm-hmm. We're now at episode 15 that Theresa does. We do audiobook reading of self-development books. We're currently getting through How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yep,
that
good book.
YouTube, a private YouTube playlist of digital marketing training. Some of the digital marketing gurus on YouTube compile training for that. We do training on digital marketing, like our group does our own trainings on digital marketing, does Facebook ads training, does Instagram marketing training. Next week we'll be doing a contact training for people who want to build their email list. That way, it's real powerful, as well as the training that takes place in the brokerage that Theresa does one-on-one and in groups with the agents. So that's very important to plug into that.
Yep. So if you're an agent out there and you're thinking about it, we are recruiting, and it's a good place to be. We're in a good place right now. We're in a growth mode. We're thanking everybody who supported this brokerage over the last, since it's been in inception, since the old Remax days. You know, we were Remax for a long time, and then became Take a Look Real Estate Brokers in 2011. And you know, it's a testament when all the core folks are still connected. They're still connected. They've been connected for more than a dozen years, and we've just been doing this thing and moving forward and developing who we are and finding ways to serve our community. And we just love our community. That's really what it is. So y'all, I want you to have a wonderful, we're going into the weekend. It just started raining. Well, it's Columbus. Weather changes as we speak. We can turn around, it's going to be changing, but at least it's not cold. And we welcome you. We will be talking to you next week, and we're getting ready for that. It's time to own it. Don't forget to go to Eventbrite to register. The link is in the notes. We're excited. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you next week. Bye.